Alright, hey guys, it's an Ifu, back with another video. In today's video, we are going to be facing Tark in the MPL Draft League. So, let's get started and go over his roster. So he has Fluttermane, Arceus Bug, Dialga Origin, Sandy Shocks, Ogre Ponteal, which is also his Terra Captain, Toadskrull, Incineroar, Cloyster, which is also his Terra Captain, and Quillfish. So overall, he has a pretty balanced squad. Some tanks, some special attackers, some physical breakers. And yeah, his overall team is pretty solid. He has 2 Intimidate Mons and Incineroar, Quillfish. And yeah, this is the team that I brought for today's match. So I had Cinderace, heavy duty boots, of course. You know, Cinderace with U-turns, pivot. Of course, Libero. So we had U-turn to be a pivot, Pyro Ball for stab, high jump kick, because they're a Pokemon like Dialga Origin and Incineroar on the team that I really want to chunk, including also Cloyster, which I was very afraid of. One Shell Smash up, and it could kind of sweep my whole team. So yeah, High Jump Kick, Sucker Punch, because there's Fluttermane, which has a very high speed tier. So I wanted Sucker Punch to at least be able to chip it consistently. And as for the IVs, are pretty simple. Max attack, 184 speed outspeeds everything that I could outspeed with my speed stat, which I think is Ogre Ponteal. And then I put the rest into defense. And then next we have Melodic, which is my Terra Captain that I'm going to bring this time. We have Marvel Scale Flamor, which procs Marvel Scale, gives us an extra defense boost. I wanted max HP, max Spadef, and I had Terra Steel because I needed this Mon to be my special tank in this match. Because if you look at the previous team, Tark's team, you know, there's Fluttermane. Terra Steel is super good against Fluttermane, resist Fairy. Same thing for Dialga, resist Bolt Stabs. Terra Steel could do pretty well against other stuff too, like Cloyster, which is why I decided to make this Marvel Scale Flamor, because I want to be more physically tanky against a Cloyster. And then as for the moves, I had Flip Turn because I want to slow pivot. We have Rest and Haze. Rest is really nice because Rest, you get sleep, and even with sleep, you're still with Marvel Scale. So basically, you have like consistent or like infinite Marvel Scale. And then we have Sleep Talk Haze. Sleep Talk gets our Haze and Flip Turns up. I wanted Haze because I know that Arceus Bug, Fluttermane, most of these mons, including Ogre, could have, you know, setup sets. So I wanted to be able to negate those setups. Next, I had Whimsicott. This was probably my most important bring of the team. Of course, Prankster, max HP, max speed. I don't have, you know, any special moves. I don't need any like investment in special attack. So we had Defog in order to get rid of hazards like rocks from Toadskrull, Sandy Shocks, whatsoever. We had Tailwind, very important for our team. You know, makes all of our mods go up a speed tier, especially Cinderace. When Cinderace goes up a speed tier, you're going to be able to outspeed Arceus Bug and force it to use other moves that won't be able to KO you, which you will see in today's battle. U-turn for pivot, and then Stun Spore to be able to cripple mons. I brought this specifically for Cloyster. So in case Cloyster Shell Smashed up, that's fine. We're just going to Stun Spore into a U-turn, probably into Melodic Haze. That was my plan anyways, if he brought Cloyster. Next we have Mew with Choice Specs. I had max speed, max special attack with Modest. Modest Vacuum Wave basically gives us a chance to OHKO Cloyster. And yeah, and then the rest are just coverage moves. Earth Power is really good for like things like Incineroar that might want to switch into our Psychics. Same things for Arceus, or not Arceus, Dialga Origin, Sandy Shocks. We also had Trick if I wanted to trick my specs and lock something into, you know, its current move. We had Hydrapple with Rocky Helmet Regenerator, max HP, max defense. This was going to be our physical tank on our team. I brought this for things like Incineroar, Quillfish. It can also perfectly tank Toadskrull, Ogre Ponteal. You know, it's a really good mon. So I had Body Press because I had max defense, and Hydrapple's defense stat is pretty high. So I wanted to use that as an offensive weapon. We have Recover for recovery. We have Earth Power because I wanted to be able to hit things like Incineroar and Sandy Shocks for decent damage if they thought that they could come in. And then I had Fickle Beam to boost or not to boost, but to just be one of our general stabs. And then lastly, I think the heatest thing in today's team is Grey Tusk. Grey Tusk, we had max attack, 244 speed with Choice Scarf. Makes it so that we are, I think, 407 speed, which speed creeps timid Flutter Mane by 1 stat point. And because of that, we have Adamant to give us more power. We have Close Combat, Headlong Rush, which are both really good stab options. Hit most of the team for really good damage, can nuke most things. Stone Edge for coverage, and then Ice Spinner also for coverage on things like Toad Scroll, Ogerpon Teal, Sandy Shock, stuff like that. Alright, so that's my thought process for bringing this team, and let's get straight into today's battle.
Saturday.